If you've been struggling to lose weight, especially the stubborn fat around your belly, hips, and love handles, no matter how much exercise you do or how much calories you count, I have the perfect solution for you. In this lesson, I'm gonna highlight some ingredients for you to have 1 tablespoon of every day to ramp up fat burning. These ingredients have 4 things in common. Number 1, they enhance mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the creation of new mitochondria. Number 2, they turn that white fat, which is the fat around your organs, that visceral fat, to beige and brown fat. Number 3, they're all insulin friendly, allowing you to be in a fat burning mode. And number 4, they lower inflammation via a process called mitochondrial uncoupling. So I'll be sharing 7 key ingredients with you. You could choose to consume all 7 and you'll get the best results, or you could choose 1 or 3 from the list. Either way, you're going to get results. First things first, it's important for you to understand how this will help you burn fat. Your mitochondria, as you learned in maybe biology class in high school, are the powerhouse of your cells, and that is true. It creates energy called ATP. And the more we could create healthy mitochondria, the more energy it creates in your body. Yes, that will leave you feeling naturally with energy, but also it raises your metabolism, it raises your basal metabolic rate, so you burn more fat just sitting on the couch. We also want to make sure we consume foods that lower inflammation. And one of the key things these ingredients do is create a process called mitochondrial uncoupling. What that simply means is this: when your cells produce energy, it creates free radicals. And we want a system in place to get rid of the free radicals. So a great analogy that I got from Dr. Stephen Gundry when I interviewed him on the Metabolic Freedom podcast is a pressure cooker. When you see all this steam built up in a pressure cooker has a release valve to get rid of excess steam. This is similar to this mitochondrial uncoupling process where your mitochondria gets excess steam built up, free radicals from energy production, and it uncouples to release that heat. This helps you burn belly fat. This helps you have more energy, and this anti-ages you at the same time. So let's start with the first ingredient, and that's gonna be MCT oil. MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides. There are long chain fats, short chain fats, and then we have medium chain fats. There are different types of MCT oils and powders out there. The one that shows the most promising with research is C8, which is also called caprylic acid. For example, you can see this study here. Caprylic acid alone increases plasma ketone response more than coconut oil or other MCT oils. This is important because it helps your body produce ketones. When your body is producing ketones, those ketones act like signaling molecules to actually communicate with your mitochondria to create a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. This is when your mitochondria start duplicating and creating healthier mitochondria. So when you're using ketones, there's actually 400% more energy produced than when you are not. This is because of the creation of new mitochondria and ATP. So we want to make sure we use this process of creating this energy demand because it allows your body to raise its metabolic rate. There are MCT oils and MCT powders. Any of them will do. The way that I personally consume my MCT oil is with my morning cup of coffee. You could also have it with tea, or you could have it straight up in a tablespoon to get that fat burning effect. I'll drop some studies and resources for the MCT oils that I use and the studies that I reference down below. The second ingredient is resveratrol. Resveratrol is a polyphenolic compound found in grapes and red wine and has notable health benefits, particularly for mitochondrial health and fat loss. It enhances mitochondrial function by activating your sirtuin genes, which are these longevity genes that a lot of these researchers in the longevity space are studying. Sirtuins actually protect your DNA from damage. This is a really important process, especially if you want to live a long, healthy life. Resveratrol has also been shown to create that mitochondrial biogenesis as well, leading to an increased metabolic rate. Additionally, resveratrol has anti-inflammatory properties and antioxidant properties as well, which further supports metabolic health and longevity. And I'll drop some studies down below on resveratrol. You could get resveratrol from red grapes and wine, although I don't recommend that because you would have to consume a lot of that, which comes with alcohol and sugar, which is not conducive to weight loss. Instead, I would recommend getting resveratrol powder. You could get it in the form of Japanese knotweed powder. There's an organic source that I recommend, which I'll drop a link for down below in the notes below. So just take 1 tablespoon of that or a resveratrol powder each day and watch the fat loss occur. The next ingredient is more of an ingredient that's going to help with your postprandial glucose levels. That means your glucose response after eating a meal. The better response we can have, the more fat loss you're going to achieve. The higher your blood sugar levels are after eating a meal, the more insulin is cranked out by your pancreas to shuttle that blood sugar into your cells. So if you eat a meal and it gives you a high glucose response, it's going to yield a high insulin response, which puts you in a fat storage state. That's not what we want here. So we want to optimize postprandial glucose. The faster we could clear glucose from the bloodstream after eating, the faster you'll tap into fat burning mode. One of my favorite ingredients to achieve this is with apple cider vinegar. There's a ton of research out there showing what apple cider vinegar does to boost the metabolism, suppress appetite, and inhibit fat storage. There are 3 major benefits of apple cider vinegar to be mindful of. Number 1, it contains acetic acid, which has been shown to ramp up metabolism, curb cravings by about 600 calories per day, and inhibit fat storage. This really helps with people who have been struggling to lose weight. The second main benefit is it aids in digestion. Apple cider vinegar helps the liver produce bile. Bile is a really important, let's call it a detergent, to break down fatty acids from your food to help with detoxification, which helps to lower inflammation, but also to assimilate those fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are crucial for cellular metabolism. Apple cider vinegar could also aid in digestion for those who have heartburn and acid reflux after eating as well. The third main benefit of apple cider vinegar is the blood sugar stabilization component. That brings us to that postprandial glucose response. When you consume apple cider vinegar 20 to 30 minutes before a meal, it really blunts that postprandial glucose response. And this has been shown in numerous studies to mitigate that postprandial glucose in healthy people, pre-diabetics, and even full-on type 2 diabetics. So I recommend taking 1 tablespoon of a high-quality apple cider vinegar 15 to 20 minutes before each of your meals. It's going to help with digestion, helps with satiation, and it's going to help with that postprandial glucose response. There are many different options out there when it comes to consuming and purchasing apple cider vinegar. We have apple cider vinegar gummies, which I'm not a fan of because they typically have sugar, not even enough amount of apple cider vinegar to get you to the benefits you're looking for, and they have a lot of artificial ingredients. There are some liquid versions out there, and if you can find a good brand, that's great. Dilute it with water and drink it through a straw. I personally use an apple cider vinegar capsule from �ー𝙉𝙍𝙍. I take 2 to 3 before my biggest meal, and I get the benefits that we're seeking here. And I'll drop a link with the coupon code for the �㼻𝙉𝙍 apple cider vinegar complex that I use, which also contains 4 other superfoods with it. Next, we have cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil is a superfood. Not only will it help reduce inflammation, it'll help you burn fat as well. There was a systematic review and a meta-analysis done, and this comprehensive study analyzed data from 45 individual studies to investigate the association between olive oil consumption and cancer risk. The meta-analysis found that higher olive oil intake was associated with a 31% lower risk in overall cancer, with significant protection noted for breast, gastrointestinal, upper aerodigestive, and urinary tract disorders. The protective effects are attributed to olive oil's rich content of monounsaturated fats and various biocompounds like polyphenols, which are antioxidants that have anti-inflammatory properties. The British Journal of Nutrition Review also highlighted the biological mechanisms by which olive oil may exert its anti-cancer effects. Key components such as oleic acid, hydroxytriazole, and oleuropein have been shown to reduce cellular oxidative stress and DNA damage, inhibit cell proliferation, and promote apoptosis, which is programmed cell death, in cancer cells. Olive oil is also great for raising your HDL cholesterol. I want you to think of HDL as your arteries janitorial system. Clear out the plaque and the buildup in your arteries. We want a good amount of HDL cholesterol in the body, and the healthy fats in olive oil help to increase HDL, activate that janitorial system, and clear out the plaque from your arteries. Now, what do the studies say with olive oil and fat loss? The pre-med study, 2014, this landmark study included 191 participants and compared a Mediterranean diet supplemented with 45 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil per day to a low-fat diet. The findings showed that the Mediterranean diet with olive oil was as effective as the low-fat diet in reducing total body weight, suggesting that olive oil can be a component for weight loss due to its favorable impact on metabolism and fat oxidation. Another study, which was a randomized control study from 2017, showed that in obese women with excess body fat, they were put on an energy-restricted diet with either extra virgin olive oil or soybean oil. The results indicated that the group consuming the extra virgin olive oil had 80% more fat loss compared to the control group. So definitely consume 1 tablespoon of high quality olive oil per day. You could cook your foods in it, you could put it on salad dressings and dips, and I even put a tablespoon in my coffee. One of the main concerns and questions I get around olive oil is, Ben, should I not cook with olive oil? I heard it's bad to cook with. It really depends on the quality of the olive oil. If you find yourself an organic, cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, it's loaded with antioxidants and polyphenols that even though it has a lower smoke point, it actually could be beneficial to cook with. There was actually a study done looking at the 8 most popular cooking oils out there: extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, rice bran oil, grapeseed oil, peanut oil, coconut oil, and a few others. And they looked at something called polar compounds after the oils were heated. They used 2 different trials where they heated it up at 364 degrees Fahrenheit and then over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And what they wanted to see is how much polar compounds did the oils produce when they were introduced to heat. What are polar compounds? These are inflammatory properties that break down the fats and create inflammation in our body. So we want the least amount of polar compounds. And this study actually showed that olive oil produced the least amount of polar compounds even at high temperatures. The worst oil in here was rice bran oil and grapeseed oil. We want to avoid those. I personally use olive oil from the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, and you could actually get a $39 bottle for just $1 by going to ketocampoliveoil.com. The 5th item here is going to be capsaicin. Capsaicin is the active component in chili peppers. It's renowned for its thermogenic properties and potential benefits for fat loss. Capsaicin works by activating the transient receptor potential vilanoid, the TRP1 receptor, which increases the body's heat production and energy expenditure. This thermogenic effect can enhance fat oxidation and boost overall metabolism. Studies have demonstrated that capsaicin can significantly reduce abdominal fat and overall body fat by increasing calorie burn and promoting the breakdown of fat. Additionally, capsaicin has been shown to suppress appetite, leading to reduced calorie intake and supporting weight loss efforts. A study done by the European Journal of Nutrition highlighted that capsaicin intake increased thermogenesis and fat oxidation, contributing to body fat reduction. I'll drop a link for the capsaicin powder I recommend. Take 1 tablespoon per day. The 6th item on the list here is grains of paradise. One of the most notable studies on the effectiveness of grains of paradise for fat loss in humans was conducted by researchers and published in the Journal of Nutritional Science and Vitaminology. This study involved 19 non-obese female volunteers who took 30 milligrams of grains of paradise extract daily for 4 weeks. The results showed a significant increase in the whole body energy expenditure and a reduction in visceral fat. This study concluded that grains of paradise extract can be a safe and effective method for reducing body fat, primarily by preventing the accumulation of visceral fat. Another study published by the British Journal of Nutrition focused on the effects of grains of paradise on brown adipose tissue and energy expenditure. Brown fat is the good fat that is loaded with mitochondria that increases your metabolism. White fat is the nasty fat that is low in mitochondria and contribute to belly fat. The study involved 19 male volunteers who took an extract of grains of paradise. The results implicated that the extract increased energy expenditure through the activation of that brown adipose tissue, which is responsible for thermogenesis and your body's ability to burn calories. Additionally, a double-blind, placebo-controlled study involving 70 men and women showed that supplementation with grains of paradise resulted in significant weight loss by increasing energy expenditure and reducing visceral fat. So the studies are pretty promising. What I do with grains of paradise, I take a tablespoon and I top my proteins with it and just consume that every single day to get that energy expenditure and the browning of fat. Number 7 is conjugated linoleic acid, also called CLA. CLA is a type of polyunsaturated fatty acid found naturally in meat and dairy products, and it's also available as a dietary supplement. CLA has been studied for its potential health benefits, particularly in the context of weight loss and fat reduction. The research suggests that CLA may help reduce body fat by inhibiting the storage of fat and promoting the breakdown of existing fat stores. CLA is believed to increase energy expenditure and improve lean body mass, making it beneficial for those looking to enhance body composition. The Journal of Nutrition published a study showing that CLA supplementation led to the reduction in body fat fat mass in overweight and obese individuals. I'll put that study down below, and I'll put a link for the CLA supplement that I recommend. Now, there are also bonus ways to enhance that metabolic rate, the browning of fat, and to allow your body to tap into visceral fat. These are going to be biohacks. So I recommend cold exposure as one of those biohacks. You could achieve cold exposure numerous ways: a cold shower or bath, cryotherapy, a cold plunge, or just jumping in a cold body of water. That shivering effect when you jump into a body of water, that activates the beiging and the browning of fat. And it also helps to increase dopamine, and it helps you actually create mental resilience, which is one of my favorite unknown benefits to cold exposure. The studies show you want to accumulate 11 minutes of cold exposure every week to get this effect. So that could mean one session of 11 minutes once per week. I don't really recommend that, or just doing 2 minutes per day until you add that 11 minutes total each week. Then we have heat exposure. And you could achieve this by doing a sauna, infrared sauna, dry sauna, steam sauna, or taking a really hot shower. A hot shower won't give you the best effect like a sauna, but it'll still give you a beneficial effect. When you're exposed to extreme hot temperatures, it activates heat shock proteins, which also stress the mitochondria, create mitochondrial biogenesis, raises your basal metabolic rate, and allows you to tap into body fat. The third biohack is photobiomodulation therapy, also called red light therapy. When you are exposed to red lights, especially when they come in different infrared, near infrared, and far infrared, and near infrared spectrums, it allows the red light to penetrate your mitochondria, creating that mitochondrial biogenesis, helps with inflammation, helps with collagen production, helps with skin tone, but also helps with burning fat. The recommendation for red light therapy is 10 minutes each side of your body, twice per day. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love a recent video I just published on how to go from 30% body fat to 10% body fat, the no BS guide to achieve lean body fat percentage. This works so well that you can see results within days. The first step in your protocol is to get fat adapted. What does that mean? That means we are teaching your metabolism to burn fat instead of sugar. There are 2 easy ways to do this within a matter of days.